So this energy, and we talked about two directions of energy yesterday. These are our 5 directions. So the first 2, that was the grounding and downward energy, and then the upward and outward energy. And now this one is from the heart space and out. And so this one is called Vyana Vayu. And remember, these are all called the Vayus, 5 Vayus. And so as we move through some poses today where we get to experience an expansion, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're opening our arms up. And as a matter of fact, if you have shoulder stuff going on, then you might choose to do something more like a gratitude arms place. But the idea is that this place around the heart, back and front, gets to expand outward, okay? So I'm gonna mute everybody now, and we'll come to a comfortable seat. And I'll remember my blocks today. Yesterday I forgot them. So as you take your comfortable seat, just because we're not focusing on the 2 energies that we learned about yesterday doesn't mean that we're not still focusing on them, because really all the energies happen all the time, all around us, and we just might not have our focus on them. But so as you sit, remember that downward grounding energy and purposely think of a good solid connection with your sitting bones. And then remember that upward moving energy, lengthen your spine, think of reaching up through the crown of your head. And now think of shoulders up and back. This helps to expand and open through the collarbones and the heart space. Hands rest down with your eyes closed. Take a couple big breaths and feel this area, this heart space, back and front, expand and contract with breath. As you allow your heart to be lifted and as you allow your breath to be full, tune into the sensations that are present in your body. Tune into whatever's happening in your mind. Maybe it's some mental chatter. Maybe it's a relatively calm brain today. Then connect hands at heart center in this sealing mudra of Anjali mudra, and press gently with your palms. Lift your heart up just a little higher, shoulder blades engage. Take a full inhale here and exhale, bow toward your heart. This is always the opportunity to honor yourself for taking the time to tune in, taking the time to focus on what's present or what you need to cultivate. Take a full deep breath. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down and lifting up through the back of your neck. Feel that length from tail to crown, length through your sides. And now open your arms up to a cactus, palms are facing forward. And then press a little further back with your elbows as your heart space expands. Think of moving outward with your elbows. You have those muscles on the tops of your shoulders called the supraspinatus that go over the tops of shoulder blades. And these help you to broaden the tops of shoulders. So see if you can find that action here. Now, draw your elbows in together to touch and then touch your palms. And now lift elbows up to shoulder height and start little circles with your elbows. And what I want you to try to do is move through your elbows more than you move through your torso. And then circle in the other direction. And again, think of more movement through the elbows and the arms, less movement through the torso. It'd be really easy to twist your whole torso to make this action happen. Now release your arms, give your arms a little shake. And then reach your palms are up, reach your hands and expand outward. Reach through your fingertips and even more so think of your pinkies as attached to your collarbones and pull your pinkies a little further apart from each other. Think of broadening through your collarbones. And now thumbs are attached to your back body. Reach your thumbs a little further apart from each other, but hug your shoulder blades in. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, reach your arms now down toward the ground, palms are out. Press through your fingertips, lift your shoulders up and back. Take ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. And with this rotation of your arms, again, think of that expansion of collarbones. There is that ability for your collarbones to expand because there is a space in between them and connective tissue. So they're not going to expand and come apart a lot, but they can expand. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And exhale, hands come together at your heart. And now bring the bottoms of your hands, your wrists to about elbow height. Press palms and then lift your shoulders up and back. And from here, try to draw the tops of your shoulders broad. And sometimes that's a tough one because they don't move a lot, but they can move. If someone had their hands on the outsides of your shoulders, they could feel you push out. And that one takes a little bit of a practice. But when we're in person again, we'll practice it with each other. So go ahead and relax your arms. Switch the cross of your legs. And then move your sitting bones. And now the position where we tend to really experience a lot of expansion through the collarbones, hands behind to clasp, or you can always take fists to your low back. That's always an option here. Lift your shoulders up and back, and then you tend to feel more of that expansion through the collarbones to pecs, right? So press palms together if you have them clasped, and then hug elbows back even more. Feel shoulder blades engage. Feel the front of your chest expand. And then begin to lift your hands away from your back if that's in your practice. As you lift your hands away from your back, you're still pressing palms and hugging elbows back toward each other, keeping a micro bend. Good, and then gently release your hands. And then take hands in front to clasp and we'll expand through the upper back. Expanding with your hands in front of you, tuck your chin down and take a big breath. You can add that side to side movement here if you'd like. But even more so, I want you to notice that expansion into those muscles in between your shoulder blades, where your rhomboids are. And then inhale, sit tall, release your arms down. We're going to take our hands to our legs and press. So you can feel that rooting down action. Lift your shoulders up and back, feeling that expanding action. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Take a big deep breath now and tilt your chin up and tilt your chin down. Keeping your shoulders up and back. Just working through a little bit of the neck mobility. And then lifting your head up to straight ahead. Shake your head no. And notice even more of the sides of your neck, the back of your neck, anything that's showing up with tension. And now back into center, shift forward onto hands and knees. From hands and knees, just pause to set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, rotate elbow pits forward and push. Expanding into the back body, but notice that press, notice that grounding action. Tap your toes and push as well. Lifting hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full big breath and allow length and reach in both directions. And now with that rotation of your elbow pits, see if you can feel a little more broadening through the upper back. And then push even more. Push from lats out through your hands. Push from hips through the balls of your feet. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen. And as you lengthen, broaden through your collarbones. As you broaden, tops of shoulders here as well. Notice more reach through the crown of your head, more reach through your sitting bones. Exhale and fold over your legs. And now hands come up to whatever you're using for props. It can be blocks, it can be a chair or a stool, but come up a little ways with your torso, extend your chest, and again, find that broadening action. Rotate elbow pits forward and push, expand into the upper back. And now keep that length through your torso and bend one knee at a time, allowing for the movement to happen from the hips, for there to be a little bit of a stretch through hamstrings, maybe through calf muscles. As you bend your right knee and send your left thigh back, pause for a moment. Keep long through your spine, broad through your shoulders. Send your left sitting bone up. Keep a little micro bend in your left knee, and then switch. Left knee bends, right thigh presses back. Send your right sitting bone up. Keep that little micro bend in your right knee. Full deep breath, extend long through your spine, broad through the collarbones. And then back into center now. Hands come up to your upper thighs and just walk your way up your legs to rise all the way up to stand. Feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. And now reach arms long out to the side, extend through fingertips, and palms are down this time. But think of reaching further through your pointer finger to expand through your collarbones. And then reach further through your pinkies to expand through your back body, but then plug in with your shoulder blades. And now cross right elbow over your left. And either take eagle arms here or take a hug, whichever feels the best. But then lift elbows up to shoulder height and draw shoulder blades onto your back. Take a big breath now into your upper back, into your chest. Notice a broadening through tops of shoulders. And then inhale, reach your arms long and switch. Left elbow over your right. And again, you can come to eagle or a hug, but whichever one. Lift your elbows up to shoulder height. Shoulder blades engage. Take a big breath into that space in between your shoulder blades. And then release your arms, take your hands behind to clasp, press palms, lift up and back with your shoulders. Take a full big inhale and lift your front ribs, lift your chest. Think of collarbones expanding out to the side. On your exhale, hinge from the hips and fold over your legs. From this place, your hands can always lift away from your back, but I want you to keep pressing palms and keep moving shoulders back, shoulder blades engaging. Then releasing hands down, feel free to use blocks here if you would like. We're going to step right foot back into our lunge, turn and plant your back heel, and inhale, rise up to our warrior two. And that ultimate and expanding and reaching pose here with your arms. So reach further through your fingertips, draw shoulder blades onto your back, and then settle a little bit deeper into your front knee and open it up. From here, notice the three energy directions that we have been working on. Notice that reach downward from your hips out through your feet. Notice the lift, expansion, and opening all the way up through the crown. Notice the reach out through the heart. Full big deep breath. Good, now work the front leg towards straight, hands to hips. Shift your hips back, create that hip crease here for your triangle pose, and then rotate your knee more toward the pinky toe edge of your foot. Then extend your heart forward and maybe work with a block on the outside or the inside of your leg. Maybe work your hand up to above your knee. Find where it is that you need to be really long through your spine and able to open up. So now, shoulder blades on your back, and then reach in both directions with your arms. Take a big, deep breath and reach even further. Think of your collarbones expanding more. Your shoulder blades are there to help your heart space open. On your exhale, bend into your front knee. Find your blocks or whatever you're using, and then bump your back foot forward and turn your toes in. So as you find this more warrior one-like stance, for your twisted triangle. You're going to send your left hip crease back in space and push with your left big toe mound. Now, as you do that, think of your back leg, your inner thigh rotating back. If your heel wasn't so well planted, then it would actually rotate outward, but it's set, so it won't. So now extend your heart nice and long. Set your right hand directly underneath your shoulder as you turn your belly and your heart toward the left side. And again, shoulder blades are on your back. Maybe extend your top arm. But if you keep your top arm at your hip, you can still think of broadening through your collarbones and letting your shoulder blades support your heart space. Take a big, deep breath. And now exhale, both hands come back down to your props, whatever you're using. Back toes can tuck here if you would like to. We're gonna work a little more calf stretch in the front leg. So now as you lift up with the front part of your heel, wrap your left hip back. Right hip wraps forward, little bend to your right knee, and send your sitting bones up. Extend your heart forward. Big deep breath. Broaden through your collarbones even here. Think of tops of shoulders moving out to the side. And then set your foot down, bend into your front knee and step all the way back. Downward facing dog pose. Big deep breath. Inhale forward into your plank. Knees to the ground if you'd like. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. And then extend through your collarbones and think of broadening them out to the sides. That might be an elusive action right now, but maybe at some point that'll feel like something's happening. Exhale, lower all the way down. Set tops of feet and knees, and then engage your low belly. And from here, you have your choice. You can reach your arms back alongside your body, or you can clasp, or if it feels better to keep your hands under your shoulders, that's okay too. What I want you to think about is lifting shoulders up and back and broadening through collarbones. Take a big breath as you allow your breath to help you lift up. Take as deep a pose here as your body is ready for. You can even include lifting your legs up here if you would like to. Full big deep breath. Let the back of your neck be long. Plant hands and settle all the way back into a child's pose for a moment. And just let yourself settle in for 2 or 3 deep breaths. Inhale back to your hands and knees. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Take a full big breath. Broaden through your upper back with that upper arm bone rotation and push. And then walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of the mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. From this place, you have your choice. You can set your hands underneath your feet so that your toes are coming up to your wrists. You can take peace fingers around big toes. You can hold on to the backs of your calves, whichever feels the best. So now inhale and lengthen just a little ways. Exhale and fold as deeply as your body needs. Send your sitting bones up. Think of broadening your sitting bones out to the side. Then release fingertips down. Set them on blocks or the floor. Step your left foot back into your lunge. Turn and plant your left heel, and then rise up to your warrior two, finding that big expansion here. And then just remember those 3 places of energy. So from hips down, reaching, pushing, try to feel that push. That push creates energy upward, so maybe you feel that lift and expansion and opening up through the crown. Then open from the heart space out. Take a big deep breath. One more full breath here. Maybe reach just a little further through your pointer fingers, expanding your collarbones. Then hands to your hips, pressing back through your hip crease as you work your front leg towards straight. You're creating that shift of your hips. Rotate your knee and extend your heart. From this place, you can have a hand on the inside or the outside of your leg, whichever feels best. Or it can be up above your knee. Turn your belly and your heart to the left side. And then your choice here, stretch up if you would like. But even if you have your hand at your hip, you'll still be able to get that big expansion through the heart space. Take a deep breath. And find both props if you're using blocks. And then work your back foot in, turn your toes in considerably. So we'll take this twisted version here. Left hand to your prop, right hand thumb into your hip crease. Press your hip crease back, extend your heart, and begin to take that twist to the right side. Shoulder blades engage again as you push down with your bottom hand. Maybe you stretch up and feel that broadening through your collarbones, regardless of where your top hand is. Big breath. Exhaling, both hands come down to your props. And you can tuck your back toes here if that feels the best to you. For me, that always keeps my knees a little bit safer. And now as you wrap your right hip back, you're lifting the front part of your right foot. Give your left knee a little bend and send your sitting bones up, even as you extend your heart forward. Big deep breath. Broad collarbones, that action of the rotation of the upper arm bones is really helpful for that. Big deep inhale, long full exhale. Then bend into your front knee, plant hands and step all the way back. Child's pose. Hips to heels. Take a moment in your child's pose to move your hips a little. Then inhale all the way up to a tall spine and come all the way down to sit. And reach your legs out long in front of you. And if you are a hyperextender, then grab your blanket or your pillow or bolster for underneath your thighs to give your legs a little bit of a lift, a little support for the hamstrings. And then move your sitting bones. And from this place, gratitude arms, letting yourself expand through the heart space. Notice that tilt forward of your pelvis, long sides. Take a big deep breath and notice those 3 directions of energy. Press down with your heels and your sitting bones. Lengthen through the crown, open and expand through the heart. One more big breath. And then gently release your hands down, bring your feet in and walk them into a comfortable distance where you can lay over your legs and a little bit of a forward fold here. So inhale and lift up tall and exhale as you fold forward. You're welcome to wrap your arms around your legs here if you would like. Just let the upper back especially get some expansion here through the heart space. And then gently rise back up and move your blanket aside. And we're going to come all the way down onto our backs. And just make sure you have props handy to help you if you need any support in your couple of poses. So knees draw in, rock a little side to side. And now set your footprints on the ground and you're going to shift your hips a few inches over to the left side. And then pick your knees back up. Make sure you have a block or a prop handy. And then drop your knees over to the right. So you shifted your hips to the left, dropped your knees to the right. And then if both shoulders are down, you're opening up with your arms. You can always take a cactus here if that feels better to you. Palms are up. Gaze turns over to the left side if that's comfortable, but really find what feels the best on your neck. Take a big, full, deep breath. And then inhale back up to center. Set your feet on the ground so you can shift your hips a little bit over to the right and pick your knees back up and drop them over to the left. So ideally that shift of your hips over to the side will help your shoulders both be on the ground. And then again, T or cactus with your palms up. Turn your gaze to the right if that feels good and take a big breath. Then inhale back up to center and set your footprints on the ground. And keeping your arms open wide here or to that cactus place, whichever feels the best. Walk your feet out wide and just take 2 to 3 windshield wipers on each side. Giving yourself that little bit of release, a little bit of reset of the nervous system. And then come back into center and work your way into your best resting pose. So feel free to add that prop underneath your legs here if you would like to, or maybe something over your belly. Take a few moments to set yourself up in your Shavasana. Begin to take a deeper breath. And gently add movement into fingers and into toes. And slowly roll over to one side and take a full breath on your side, letting yourself be fully expanded. And slowly push yourself back up to your seat. Bring hands together at heart center and take a couple full breaths with your eyes closed, feeling whatever energy is present. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.